Hello everybody, and welcome to South Shields up here in the northeast of England. Joining me here today is Chris Thornton, who is the South Tyneside organiser for the British National Party. Hi Chris.
Hello Peter.
Can you tell us what we're doing here today?
We're here today because one of our members has informed us that the council-run library in Cleveland Medical Centre are doing a promotion for Islam this week, and we want to go across there and find out what's happening.
I see.
Questions.
So what's the layout over there? Is it like a tabletop do, or?
I went over there yesterday, and yes, they've got several tables there with the Quran, leaflets such as these, given out by Muslim women. It's all basically, I've read through them, and it's all about the first part of the Quran, where they have the obedience and the more tolerant part of the Quran. In fact, you've got obedience to law, punishment for blasphemy, saying that there is no punishment for blasphemy, the turn the other cheek. Well, we all know that's totally different. I mean, if you put a few cartoons about millions of Muslims around the world kick off and kill each other. About the little girl in Pakistan recently, who was wrongly accused of blasphemy, was going to be burnt. Things like that. They've got another section here for are women inferior to men in Islam, and it says no, they're not. They're certainly not. Well, we all know that they are. It's well documented that they are. There's a thing on jihad, saying that jihad's just for spreading out the word of Islam, nothing more. Well, we all know that's total rubbish. Why they're giving out these leaflets? In fact, it's bits on terrorism, that they denounce terrorism, and obviously 99% of terrorists are actually Muslims. So anybody with an head on the shoulders realises that this is all lies. Now, when I went over there yesterday, I was expecting something like this, just to pick a few leaflets up and that. But what shocked me the most was the fact that there was a large group of children in there being taught with two indigenous British teachers and several Muslim women about Islam. And I found that quite disturbing, because the reason why I do is, as we all know, it's well documented that the Prophet Muhammad was a 54-year-old man who was married to a 6-year-old girl. Now, I've got a 6-year-old girl, and I found that disturbing. I never asked any questions yesterday, but we are going to go ask some today.
Right. So this is all with the permission of the local Labour Council?
Well, apparently so. I think it's systematic, and I believe that they'll be sending children widespread throughout the borough whilst this is open. I can't understand why they're doing that. Islam it isn't for children. Many children in the Muslim world, well, in Britain even, are mutilated with their sexual parts. Little girls, so they can't enjoy sex when they're older, which I found very disturbing. Now, the Prophet Muhammad, as I say, was a self-confessed paedophile, and I think that's why we have so many Muslim paedophile grooming gangs in Muslim parts of the country where there's quite a lot of Muslims.
Yeah, I suppose they're reading the Quran. They use it as a handbook, obviously, a guide to life, and what's good for the Prophet is good for them. So you probably hit the nail right on the head there. Unfortunately, this appears to be an exercise in spin by the local council. They're spinning Islam to come across as an acceptable alternative to Christianity, which we all know is totally unacceptable. Right, Chris, what we'll do, I think, is we'll leave it there for now, and you and I will pop round there, and obviously you can go and do your thing, ask some questions, and I know you've got some hard-hitting questions you want to ask. So hopefully we have a successful day, and we'll see how freedom of speech fares, because we know with our history that as soon as you start asking questions, they start going Nazi, bigot, racist, just because you're asking questions. So hopefully we'll get some footage in, and we'll get some answers, and we'll see you folks in a few seconds.
Was the Prophet Muhammad, he was married, wasn't he? Married. Was he married to a little girl, 6-year-old?
9 years old.
He was married when she was 6, and he had sex with her when she was 9. Is that correct? Yes. Do you think that's why there's quite a lot of paedophilia amongst the Muslim grooming gangs that we here in the northwest? Do you think that's the case? Is that why?
Because I can't explain. I tell you. So, someone is coming to church. So, if you want to talk,
Yes.
so, sure. You give me your reference number or telephone.
Right, I'll come back. I'll pop back and see you. It's okay.
Sorry.
No problem. Okay, thank you. Do you want me to give you a telephone number? I'll give you a telephone number if you want. Have you got a pen? Yeah. Okay. I could have some of the questions on the telephone, then, couldn't I? That'd be good.
Right. Your name and telephone number. Contact number. If you want any question,
Yep.
so you ask the him. Thank you so much.
Do you think it's right that the Prophet Muhammad should have been married to a little girl?
Yes.
Do you think that's good?
Good.
Why do you think that's good?
It's good because he's a prophet.
So he can marry little girls?
He's a prophet.
He's still a 54-year-old man that married a girl, isn't he?
Your question, question, tell about the member.
Yeah. What do you think? Yeah. But you think it's good?
If you have any question in your mind,
Yeah.
you can.
Right. Okay.
So I can't explain.
Right. No, it's not a problem if you.
My English is.
Yeah, if you've got no English. Are you not from this country?
No,
No.
I live 4 years here.
Right.
Not here this
Do you like this country?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
like it.
Yes.
Everything's
Do you like the
free.
freedoms of this country? Yeah. You don't get freedoms in your country.
No.
No. Why?
And
Because is your country a Muslim country?
Yeah, Muslim country, but I'm the Muslim, so.
Yeah, but you don't get much freedoms there.
No.
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 Not a
Because
free-
I'm so about this religion.
Ah.
Not freedom. I'm not.
In Muslim countries you don't get much freedom, do you? No.
For just.
But what I don't understand is,
Just for another.
yeah, what I don't understand is if you don't get freedoms in Muslim countries, and so you come here for freedom, why would you want to have Islam in this country where you have the freedom? Why would you want to go back to having it like it used to be, where you've had to leave your country? I wouldn't want to leave my country. You've had to leave your country because you're not getting the freedoms in an Islamic country. But why would you want to come into a country that is not Islamic, but want to change it to be Islamic, when fundamentally all the wrong reasons why you left your country are Islamic reasons? You haven't got the freedom there, but you want the freedom here, but you want to change a free country into an Islamic country, and I can't understand that. Why don't you just come in and respect our laws and religions and keep it as a Christian country where it is free and good? Why would you not like to do that and involve yourself more in the Christian part of our country and convert to Christianity, which, you know, if you...
I can't understand many things. You talk.
Right, when your friend rings, I'll ask these questions to your friend. Okay? Okay, nice to meet you. Thank you. Well, there you have it. I've asked a few questions. I'll come back and ask a few more. It's a bit strange, really, why people come from a country where they're being persecuted. They're being persecuted by Islam, yet they want to bring Islam to our country when they come here. When they come here to a free country, it's kind of strange. And they're the questions I will be asking. Thank you very much, and we'll get back to you.
Thanks very much. Right. Okay, well here we are, 24 hours later. Just a quick discussion of how we did yesterday. Bit of a disappointment, Chris, that there was only one person there, wasn't it?
I think, yeah, it was a disappointment. I'd like to have seen, hopefully the school children would have been there, and I could have had a conversation with the school children and explained a little, you know, give it our side of the story, the proper side of the story, and not the lies. That would have been nice, but there wasn't. But at the same time, we wouldn't have been able to film that if the school children would have been there.
Yeah.
So, what did disappoint me was the fact that I thought this would happen. When you ask questions, everything they can understand you.
Yeah.
But as soon as you start asking any questions they're not interested in or they don't want to know about, they can't understand you. And far too often, it's just like the race card. Far too often they produce the race card. Far too often they produce, oh, I don't understand. And they do understand, they just don't want to answer my questions.
Yeah, well it's the same old thing, isn't it? When you ask something awkward, no speaking English, no speaking English, would you like some free money? Oh yes, rather, jolly good, thank you very much. And we come across this all the time, as you know. What did strike me is that the lady didn't seem that interested in educating anybody about Islam, and it came across that she was just a drone that was there to look after the books, not to educate anybody, but the whole thing was just put there so it's in your face. This is Islam, we're in your library, like it or not, this is part of your world now. Mm-hmm. Is that how you see it?
That's exactly how I see it, and like I said, I think it's disgusting because it's the fact that the teaching it to the children as well. That's what's annoyed me most, because I don't think it's acceptable in this day and age for. I don't think Islam's acceptable in this day and age. Never mind teaching it to our children. We're a Christian country, and don't get me wrong, I can understand different religions and different faiths, but fundamentally we're a Christian country, and if there's anything that should be put up in that library, it should be all about Christianity.
Well, that's another thing. Have you ever seen another religion represented in any library?
Certainly not. Maybe a tiny little, the odd leaflet or the odd pamphlet or something like that. Never on that kind of scale.
It's ridiculous, isn't it? And they also had it in Braille. I noticed while we were there. Unbelievable in Braille. I dare say if we'd have looked around, they'd have had something for the hard of hearing as well. The people that put this on are indeed the Labour Council, right?
That's correct, yeah.
Right. So the Labour Council have put this on knowing that the Muslims are going to put a spin on it. Mm-hmm. So that's what's sinister about this. The Muslims come in to the Labour Council and say, can we? The Labour Council fall all over themselves, say, yes, of course you can. They know they're going to put a spin on it because they know how corrosive and dangerous Islam is. And all we're going to hear about is the first half of the Quran, which has got a lot of messages of peace and love, until later on when he finds his feet and becomes the paedophilic, warmongering murderer that he ended up to be. Muhammad, who I'm speaking about. And now they're trying to feed our children this homogenised rubbish that it's an alternative to Christianity, which we know is absolutely unforgivable for any Christian indigenous people to perpetrate on our children. Exactly. How do you feel about that as a father of three?
Exactly, I understand exactly where you're coming from, Peter. I also believe there's another spin on it, and that's the Labour Council want to stay Labour Council. Now, if they take our children at an early age and force Islamic views on them, as soon as the British National Party turn and say, oh, hang on a minute, that's not right, our children already say, oh, they've already been tipped off by the schools that the British National Party are the nasty ones because they're against Islam, and Islam's brilliant and Islam's great because they've seen all these leaflets, and the British National Party are wrong. So I believe that they're actually grooming our children for future voters as well,
Yeah.
as well as grooming our children towards Islam. Now we all know that the Labour have got a systematic reputation of paedophilia in them. You've got the Labour 25, well, I think the Labour 25 is now Labour 50, isn't it? Something in that region.
Oh, that is building every week.
And so they have got a soft spot for paedophiles. They even tried to, it was the Labour that tried to put Nick Griffin into prison for standing up against paedophiles. Now, I think that the Labour Council are seeing this as a great idea to bring Islam into our community, which we certainly don't want, but also to bring
Indoctrinate our children.
And for future voters.
Yeah, indoctrinate our kids. Yeah. Well, it sounds like that's the role that the Labour Party want to play now. They're quite happy destroying our culture and us as a people. All we can do is keep forging ahead and keep making these films and showing people what's going on. I'd like to say something before we do sign off, and anybody that's watching this, you should understand that in the Islamic tradition, and it's in the Quran, Muslims use something called taqiyya, and it's spelled Taqqiya, and what that is it's the Quran giving all Muslims permission to lie and lie again if it promotes and supports Islam. They will tell you they are friend. They will tell you anything you want to hear because they are practicing taqiyya. Any young ladies out there that are watching this, he will tell you, oh, you're so pretty, oh, I love you. That is practicing taqiyya. It is untrue, it is deceitful. That is how they are winning this battle. People believe them because they think nobody could tell lies on such a scale. They do.
The other thing is, I'd like to say, any Muslims out there watching this, thinking that the British National Party are totally against them, the British National Party have never ever killed any Muslims. Now the Labour-run council, when Labour was in power, they started the wars in Iraq with lies of weapons of mass destruction, and they killed millions of Muslims. Now it's Labour who's killed all the Muslims, now backed up by the Conservatives and the Liberals who are killing Muslims. British National Party want to bring our troops home. We're nationalists. We want to protect our own borders. We don't want to kill Muslims, but we want people who come to our country to respect our laws, respect our religion, respect our culture, and to integrate into our society, not the other way around. Not us integrate into anybody else's society. Now, any people that go into any country, you wouldn't expect them to. I mean, when the white people went to America and took over the Red Indians' land, now we look back on that and we say that was terrible. And the same thing we did with the New Zealanders and the Maoris and the Aborigines in Australia. We say that's terrible because their land was taken. Now, this is happening in Europe now with Muslims doing this to us. Now, we don't want Islam. I don't want Islam for my children. I want my children to be able to go to school and come back safely and not be raped or stabbed or murdered by third world people. If you want to come to our country, accept our laws and our religion and our culture and blend into our society. If you don't, then you'll have the likes of me and Peter and others who eventually will smell the coffee and wake up and will continue to fight against it. Thank you very much.
I'm Peter, this is Chris. We'll see you again.